Meeting of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. This is a working session for Guam Power Authority. For the record, those present are myself, Commissioner Mcalco, Santos, Pina, and John Beneventi. You're our general manager. You're in charge. Take us down the road.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. I have actually just 3 resolutions for present to you on this work session for consideration. For consideration of approval at the next week Tuesday's board meeting. And the first one is actually the adjustment of the residual and diesel fuel oil budget. As we are all quite aware, the price of oil has been rising for actually a few months now, more specifically recently due to the Ukraine issue. And so what we're doing, and again, this is more, we spend what we have to spend in fuel oil, and we try to project and allocate a certain budget. No? And so as a result, our budget of 249 million is not adequate to cover the projected fuel costs for between now and the end of the fiscal year. We're actually anticipating another 52 million increase in RFO and 119 million in diesel fuel oil, for a total increase of the budget of about $171 million. So what I'll be asking you again is to approve the change, and which will bring our total budget for FY 2022 to 577,324,000, and out of that 420 million of it, 186,000 is for fuel revenue, both residual and diesel fuel. So no change in the O&M budget, but just specifically a change in the fuel budget.
Fuel budget, yeah.
No? And again,
The authority spent.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's resolution number 2022-17, Mr. Chair, and I'm open to questions if there's any on that one.
Let me guess. Cost of oil went up?
Yep, way up, way up. We're, if you look at my report later, I'll show you. It's the first time I think in our history that we've been this high in fuel oil costs. We came close. The highest before that was in 2012, 2013, but it's substantially getting more. And again, you keep seeing that it's going to go up again some more, but
It's hanging in the hundreds. The projections I saw this morning, it's going to be 100 through June.
Which is kind of, again, maybe I can just emphasize that once we get to 2025, which is beginning 2025, with the new combined cycle and the solar farms that we have contracted for, the LEAC that you have today, which is about 21 cents a kilowatt hour, will be around 13 cents. It's almost a 7 cents drop.
Almost 40% drop
Reduction in the LEAC. So therefore, under worst condition in our history, and it's 21 cents now, 20.9, it'll be down to about 13 cents. So that's,
That's where the future is.
Yep.
We just have to get there.
That's right.
That's why when we get to the lease discussion, that's why we really need the help of our senators and the governor. We got to get that lease piece put into place yesterday.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Any other questions?
No questions,
Hey,
Mr. Chair.
it's what it is. It is what it is. Okay, John, next one.
Next one, Mr. Chair, I'm tabling actually 2022-18, which is We Care Guam resolution. Actually, which is something that is MOA that can actually be done directly between GPA and Guam Energy Office. But I will explain what it is in my GM report. No?
Okay.
To give a summary of what it is. It's really something we could implement and doesn't really require a CCU resolution. But we have put that on the agenda earlier, but I'll explain that. So if I may, I can go to FY 2022, that's 19.
Okay.
And this is, again, to authorize us to implement the first year extension of the contract of the current supply of residual fuel oil number 6, which is the contract is with Hyundai Corporation. Hyundai Corporation today provides us RFO, residual fuel oil, specifically low sulfur fuel and high sulfur fuel, 2 different prices, no? However, beginning in December of this year, the end of December, we have to begin burning 0.2% sulfur, which therefore required us to negotiate with Hyundai to eliminate the high sulfur, low sulfur 1.19 at some point between now and the end of the year, and just convert to 0.2%.
Okay.
So this is our result of the negotiation, and again, some of this fuel will be brought in maybe around August or September in preparation, because the way it works out is we're going to burn out right now we're not bringing in any more high sulfur fuel. We're only bringing in low sulfur. This last time is all low sulfur. So what we're doing now is burning all the high sulfur, then we'll start burning the low sulfur 1.19, and then we're going to bring in the 0.2 and burn out all the low sulfur 1.19, so that at the end of the year we're only at 0.2 and in compliance with the consent decree. So the resulting contracts to amend the first year, which brings us from up to August 2020 or September 1st, 2023 to 2024.
Okay. This is the first extension.
First extension.
Okay.
Hopefully all goes well. The power plant is on. We have enough fuel already. We don't have to buy any more after August 2023, because at that point we'll be burning out all the 0.2% sulfur and then retire Cabras 1 and 2. So unless something, really beyond our control, we anticipate the 1-year extension will take care of our needs. And so that's to amend the current contract, and it's really also not only for a reduction in the volume, again the pricing, but also the volume from about over 2 million a year to 1 million a year, because it's now just Cabras 1 and 2 burning low RFO beginning July no later than July 31st of this year. We'll begin ultra low sulfur diesel at PD 8 and 9.
Okay.
So again, all of this is coming together, compound the Ukraine. That's why we're making all this transition to burn out all the other fuel to get to the clean diesel fuel, which will make us all compliant. Clean diesel fuel and very clean RFO 0.2% by the end of this year to comply with US EPA until the new power plant comes on board. Then no more RFO on the island, just diesel fuel.
John, I only have one question, John. It's something that I've been thinking about. What are we going to do with the oil that comes from the dealers and all that? Are we still going to take that, or can you burn that with the 0.2 or no?
I'm trying, in fact, I was going to bring that up next month, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
We're going to contact the dealerships and everybody. We're going to get the actual volume, because there will be also a reduction in the volume that we're burning today, because once PD 8 and 9 converts to
you can't burn.
ultra low sulfur diesel, we won't be having this waste that we're having to burn at Cabras, which is actually a substantial volume also.
Yeah.
So what's going to be less is the fuel oil. So we're looking at some options that may be taken off island at a reasonable rate or something, but something has to be done, and I'm looking that we can't really continue to burn after the end of this year, or maybe no later than at least 1 year from now, because we need the Cabras plants to be operating reliably, no?
Yeah.
Especially for the next 2 years because of the, where growth on the island and the reserves levels are not where we really need it to be. And so by beginning at the end of the year, by burning the 0.2% sulfur, that in itself will provide lower maintenance requirements for the Cabras plant, because now you're not
Putting in dirty oil.
yeah, the sulfuric acid, the wear and tear in the machines is less, no? So this waste oil also starts to build up again, no? So I'm hoping that we find a way to get this and that out of the equation and just run the Cabras units on 0.2, so that will provide us a better reliability over the next 2 years.
It's just, John, I remember we did
Yeah.
bring this up with the parties that were involved
Right.
a long time ago, that we were going to move in this direction, and we started to say we need to think about what you're going to do. So it's, it's something I'm glad you're thinking of reaching out to them again and saying, hey, this is where we're going, and you're not going to be able to just give us this anymore.
Right,
Okay.
because we have to find an alternate solution. So we're going to have a meeting with them first, and then
Okay, sure,
I will bring
sure.
to you the next.
Yeah, we don't want them to be surprised. We want them to know.
Yep. So that's 2022. That's 19.
Any other
Mr. Chair.
questions on the resolution? It's kind of cut and dry. Okay, next resolution, John.
The last
last one.
item, Mr. Chair, and again, this is to authorize us for a month-to-month extension on our printing for our bills,
Oh, yeah.
the mailing, processing. So we really need to keep this ongoing. This is revenue-based. Unfortunately, we did have a bid, and there was a protest, and the protester, again, the OPA, what you call it, ruled in our favor. However, again, it has to go to Superior Court, no?
No, you went to court.
Yeah. So again, this is a case now where, at some point in the future, something's got to be fixed in some of these cases. So here we are now paying more, no, to maintain the service, because we have to have the service, and this could go on for so long again, no? But again, I will make it I won't bring it up tonight until more than just to, put up what do you call it, a warning that this is like one issue again that,
Part
even
of the
though,
procurement problems.
yeah, the other one was if you recall, the NG solar farm. We went through the Superior Court, and so now we're negotiating that, whether there's a price increase or not. And then we lost, imagine for 2 years now, that amount of kilowatt hours, we lost millions of dollars.
They would have been built by.
I can estimate it, but right now, but I know it's in the millions of dollars for every year, because that 11 cents would have taken out the 20-some cents for the expensive peaking units in the evening.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing again, and this is what, something has to be put where, okay, it really has to be some consequences if you don't prevail, because it's not fair to the ratepayers also, no? I mean, in all fairness,
So does NG get to reprice because of the delay?
we're still negotiating all of that.
They're allowed to, or they're just saying that the bid we want is challenging for us?
Right now, it's just in negotiations, and but trying to hold the pricing.
It's a
and-
problem, though, for procurement
Yeah,
for
like
us.
this. I mean, this is the incumbent, so they're gonna, this extension, they win by dragging it into
The
court.
issue now is, that's right. The issue then, when the engineer is, we were almost there to get the contract done, but then it didn't get to the commission because it was protested at that point.
Yeah, and the COVID.
So it's not like we already had signed a contract, no, and maybe they could have, so it's a little, but still at the same
More
time.
complicated, but
Yeah. So we're still, hopefully we get that done by, before the next month's meeting, because we want to get that planned moving, no?
So this is pricing extension, right? That's what this is.
So again,
Just shows the
Yeah.
problems we have with the procurement.
procurement.
And there's no consequence. Anybody can
Yeah, you
follow
can just
suit.
protest.
Just protest.
The income, it's an incentive for the incumbent just to protest for the hell of it.
Yeah.
And
Angie, shit, it was the guy that finished third that protested.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the second highest bidder.
Yep,
Okay, so
the
any other
Gpa.
questions on this one, by the way?
No, it's fine.
Okay, John.
So just
Go
a
ahead.
quick GM report,
Yep,
Mr.
yep,
Chair.
yep, yep.
Very interesting though. Of course, we're looking next month, availability up to 292, and I'll show you in a minute why, no? As to Cabers 1 is, remember the last meeting I told you it could be as late as July. And so, you know, we work real hard to get others to work with us, and good news is that we're trying to get it on by early May at the latest, you know. So again, but the demand is up, no? Because this now we're coming to the peak period of the time. So you're gonna look at 255, maybe this year we're gonna hit 262 for the highest for the island, no? Last year was 258. So again, there's always the potential, and I'd like to say during peak hours, we do our best to make sure that we work around this and provide it, no? But we're getting into the hotter months, no? And all of that. Again, as you can see, normally the 2022 is already higher than the 2021 and the 2019. This one was, you know, could be rain or different things, but again, I expect this to be up here. Next. Net metering, still going the same course, only about nine per month coming on the line, no? What I do want to note here is, remember in the IRP, I mentioned 35%, if you look at the net metering report that we provide under the engineering, 35% of the circuits have have capacity greater than the minimum daytime loading, or the more than 30% of the minimum daytime loading of the system, right? So that basically starts when you're having too much supply, right? You're pushing in this supply and then pushing in this one, then you tend to bring the voltages up. And some of these voltages are high now that could be detrimental or are becoming detrimental to the consumers within that circuit, no? So this is where again we're looking at that. We're doing the entire circuit. We've done about 6, but we're doing the entire circuit. There are 3 that are already at 76 to 116%. In the daytime, they're pushing in, so it's going to push back on the transformer into the grid. So again, those are could prevent voltage problem in some customers, especially where the concentration is too much, no? And those circuits are in the south right now. The Aga Sonorita, the Windward Hill in 262, and the Papa 340, which brings it from Umatic all the way to Inarahan, no? So again, we're looking at those circuits to see how to address, okay? So that's the other thing I provided you that we need to address going forward. Oil, if you can see, it's almost a 90-degree, right? The good news is at least there's a bend now, right? So, yeah, I mean, look, it's almost 90 degrees.
88.
Yeah?
86%.
Yeah, so again, but you know, but at least we're trying to manage, do what we can, no? But again, here, see, this is the highest prices whenever you've seen $100 barrel for RFO
So this is our highest price in history?
in history.
We're currently paying the highest
Yeah.
prices in history.
We're paying the highest prices in history.
Hey, John, I want to thank Melinda, now that with her in the room. I mean, keeping generation going and having the team fix things and getting the vendors to get you your pieces so you can fix Cabras leftover, whatever. Which one is that? 1, 2, 1?
Number 1.
Yeah. Cabras 1 going. Thank you to your team. You're keeping it going. Yeah, you've done a great job.
Yep. Next. Again, PUC, the major vote for number 2, September, October this year has been approved. The merchant services approved. Refinancing, of course, they did approve it to allow us to do the refinancing of the 2012 bonds. And then the LEAG, they increased to 20.9 something, no?
John, do you have a prediction for under recovery by July 31? Or by Tuesday?
Not yet, Mr. Chair.
Maybe Tuesday?
Commissioner, John has 20, almost 30 million now, but that's up to March, so April is the new rate. And so,
Oh, April or now? I thought they just,
April 1st, eh?
yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah, just now.
I'm curious, now with the new rate.
Yeah, we only have March.
Tuesday, just curious, what's your
Yeah.
latest guess of the under recovery?
We'll try and project it for Tuesday.
Yeah.
No?
Tuesday. Good.
Again, with 213 was passed and it became law. Of course, we would like to really express our thank you to Senator Jose and Augustine for taking it all the way, introducing the bill for us. And especially the senators also supported the passage of the bill, and of course, the Governor Longarero for signing the bill into law. No, the new legislation for authorizing the land lease agreements. No, which are considered exceptional term leases, because again, the lenders want to be clear that there's no ambiguity in their contract with us for the next 25 million to lend KEPCO about $600 million. No.
And what exactly does the legislation? So, what is exceptional term? What exactly does the legislation do?
Well, the legislation makes it clear that the land lease agreement that between us and them is acceptable by law, and it overrides all. Correct me, I'm not the lawyer here, Graham, but it overrides all subsequent legislation that may have some influence or ambiguity on this contract. For example, what happened with the port, the YTK issue, no? So this is specifically. We have a legislation. It took a little while to get it now where it could be introduced, because we had to make sure all the drawings were approved and recorded by land management, which for the two sites, and that's been done now. So they can refer to those recordings now as exactly the authorization to allow us for those specific areas.
Will this include the Cabra site?
Yes.
Okay.
The
And
two.
then we're actually saying this is exactly where the
Yeah.
Ukudu plant is located on the Ukudu lot.
That's right. It's got the boundaries.
Exact location of the 41 megs
Yep.
in Cabras.
Yep.
Right, and then we own the land, right? And we're prescribing where this building sits and the attachments to the building sit on our land in Ukudu and in Cabras. That's what this lease instrument will be describing.
Yeah, we're saying that this boundary, this property is being leased to KEPCO, no? For the construction of the power plants, no? The Ukudu power, the 198 megawatts in Ukudu, and the 41 megawatts down at
Because the
Cabras.
question I've heard out there that I'm sure you're prepared to answer is,
Why didn't we bring this idea of leasing it sooner? But I knew what I thought I heard you say in earlier meetings was until you got the footprint right, and then we found out we can do the 41 megs and we can do it in Cabras, you couldn't take a complete solution to the legislature because you couldn't prescribe exactly where facilities sit on the property, and
Yeah.
and so that's what this legislation is designed to do. And,
Yeah.
and if there's any other laws that restrict
Yeah.
how you can lease out government property, this legislation will allow, will deal with all of
Because it's
that.
the lenders' councils, no, local councils that actually brought up, and again, they're risk averse because of the YTK issues and other things. So they advise the lenders that we should have something that specifically puts this in its place. So that's why, again, it came later. In addition to that, they had to do the surveying, the recording, and all of that. So now we're ready, and we'll talk to Senator St. Augustine if he can introduce it now.
And then we need a hearing.
That's right, and then we're working. We had, as I mentioned in last meeting, I believe that we had talked to the speaker, who has the land committee, and she had assured us that she was going to bring it right up for public hearing. So hopefully we can get this all done in May, because financial closing again is contingent upon two things: no? This legislation and the permitting from US EPA. And that is also in the works and should be done, at least should be acceptable within the time period by May. So then, because the KEPCO has already released close to about 100 million, but the senior part of the loan, which is about another 500 million, is contingent upon these two things, no? Then the full construction now just moves forward.
So is that, did I understand you correct then, JB, that the financial closing is contingent on this legislation?
That's
So, so we won't see a financial closing until the legislation is passed?
That's my understanding at this point, no? And that's why, I'm still pushing them to move, give notice to proceed so that we stay on the schedule, no? Of April 2024.
So
This will eliminate any other requirements from us, and everything's now on the contractor.
So then that is a critical path to the notice to proceed then. Without the financial closing, there is no NTP.
That's right. They've given a limited notice to proceed. To start ordering the machine, doing this and that, but to put the rest of the 600 million, no? The next 500 million, we need this passed, no? As soon as possible. No? And again, we don't want to get into a condition where, again, potentially now we're increasing prices again, opening the doors. Right now we've done so well to keep them the pricing where it is, no? And so the delay, for example, in the 41 megawatt, I'm in the process now to negotiate what increases is needed on that because of all the delay. Because we tried, we've been trying for so long to get that done since last year, and I didn't, for the life of me, think that we would take this long to get that, no?
Commissioner Santos.
Where's the bill?
Huh?
Who's writing it?
The bill's been submitted, it's written.
It's written.
You ready?
Who wrote it? We did, or the lawyers?
No,
We did.
Together with the lenders, lawyers.
There's words, just make sure they
Yeah.
work.
Yep, everyone's satisfied.
And so it's been submitted to SAM's.
Nice. So it's just pending introduction.
Yep. Okay, next. Phase 3 solar, again, like I mentioned, because of the 2-year delay, we're working in negotiations and completing the final contract. So hopefully I can have something for you by next month. No? Once you approve it, then the PUC has to approve it, and then we move forward. Assistance program, again, 1.9 million already, rental assistance, and 78,000 for homeowner assistance fund. And this is what we work with Department of Administration. No? Next.
Can I ask a question on that?
Sure.
Are you handling that? Do we work like we have our list of delinquent people that we can say is so-and-so eligible for this program as opposed to the individual having to go there and apply? Actually be more proactive at our end and say, are these customers on your potentially can be,
So when our customers are delinquent or they call for a pay plan,
Right.
we do ask each customer if they have already submitted an application for the ERA and the HIF. But we do know that whether or not they have submitted it because we work closely with DOA on both programs. Additionally, since the inception, shortly after the inception of the ERA, we've asked DOA if they can send a representative here at Fidian every Thursday from 9 to 1. So that they can help with both both utilities, power and water. And so they've been doing that as well. At one point, they came both Tuesdays and Thursdays. Additionally, we work with DOA when we do have a customer saying that they have submitted an application and DOA says they have not.
Okay.
So we're trying to match all of that together.
Yeah. Here, next. Here's a program that we're rolling out, and again, we're providing rebates, no, for customers, but then the low income
Don't have the money to
don't
buy
buy.
it anyway.
So The Guam Energy Office now has authority to, from my understanding, to use the Lihe. It is something that we, Tricia have worked on with them to try and see whether we get this thing over to really to provide it for energy assistance instead of being used for something else. So the Guam Energy Office has that now and are going to be working to do low income because again, part of reducing their costs is making it more efficient, and for their quality of life, no? So everybody has some kind of air conditioners, no? So we have the rebate program which goes to every residential. It goes now to commercial and the government, no? So we're going to be providing the rebate to the Guam Energy Office, who will turn around and utilize the total rebates received to add more to the low income.
Because even with our existing program, there are some low-income families that said, I still can't afford that air conditioner.
That's right.
Guam Energy will help those low-income families with their grant money, say, now this will help you.
Right, and then we replenish that with what is deserving rebate that we would have given everybody else who were making the investment. No?
Good idea.
So John Cruz and Miss Rebecca Respicio, the director, really thought about this program and got everything rolling. And again, we're having a MOA signing so that we can. And again, the MOA really sets out the process and all of that to make it happen, and we'll begin this process. No. The new power plant. These are all the our sport team keeps track of all the critical things that needs to be addressed, what's being completed, some of it's still in books, but again, things are moving. We get the financial closing, this will continue to be issues that we address, but now the construction really starts to move. And again, here, the two things here is the financial closing pending the air permit and the land lease agreement. On the air permit, there is a draft from US EPA which KEPCO is reviewing and has to provide comments back. Once that's completed, then it will go to a public hearing. However, at that point, once the EPA has provided the main structure of the draft, things in the public hearing won't change whether the machine is like this or like that, no? It may change some things like noise or whatever, but it won't significantly change the permit, and so therefore, at that point, we could probably get a permit to authorization to proceed with the construction from Guam EPA. Yeah?
And then, John, for the monitoring devices that the legislature asked us to include for down in Cabras, that's on our nickel, right?
That's on our nickel, and actually we're working on a grant for that. Sylvia's team working so we can monitor part of the whole. And again, this is more just really to show people that yes, the air is clean, no? Because they are skepticism. I don't want to say. I mean, rightfully so, right? They're always concerned.
That's another word that began with S, but skepticism is a good word.
But what they're going to see is that it is clean because there's no way you can go from 2%, 1.19%. To 0.0015% sulfur, and it's not clean, no? Because that sulfur diesel that we're going to burn is the same that the buses on Guam use and idles while the children are coming off the buses and coming on the buses, no? It's the same fuel, and the engines that we're burning it then are more efficient than those engines that are in the buses, no? So if you put the two together, but again, we have no problem. But again, because for so long we've been burning heavy oil, no, we should show the people Guam true monitor that is going to happen. So and again, part of that is Senator Brown was concerned about the port employees that were down there for long. So we're gonna do it. We have agreed, and we're actually getting a grant to help that. No? Next, Cabras boiler number 1. So again, that was February 4th. The return to service is now. Where's my red line here? Oh, here. Early May. and we're making all efforts to get it on the line before then. I think they did put water in the boiler and pressurize it. They found 5 leaks and they're repairing that now. But other than that, it looks like it's structurally sound. And then they'll be finishing out all the other stuff. And I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. And again, then after that, we have to take PD8 and 9, each machine down for 2 3-week periods each, so that they can prepare it for conversion to ultra low sulfur diesel. And in the second 2-week, 3-week period, it will be burning ultra low sulfur diesel. So we have everything lined up, the tanks, the oil, now the conversion. So there's still a chance that we get first one unit running by the July 31st and then finish the second one maybe even in August. But then come back with ultra low sulfur diesel, which means we didn't burn RFO after July 31st. No?
JB,
So-
you have all of the conversion parts already
Yeah.
here?
Yep.
So everything's here ready to be installed?
That's right. That's the MEC contract, the 14 million. No?
Yeah.
So they're ready to work. It's just that again, we couldn't do it without the Cabras one. No?
And they can do it with the existing staff on island, or they have to bring in technical experts?
They're bringing in technical people, and the BWSC and all of that. They're all coming in.
No travel issues, no restrictions
they,
on getting the
so
technical?
far I think like they worked it out already. So it's just waiting for scheduling to come in. And again, our scheduling is it would have been done already or heading into it, but because of Cabras 1, no. Okay, and again, here's thanks Melinda and her team. I mean, the last time I was here, we talked about this maybe as late as July, and so we were able to get together and get the technical expertise, their availability, travel, materials and parts all taken care of. And a lot of work has been done, so much to the point that they'll be starting to remove the scaffolding anytime in the next few days here, so that we can start up the boiler. No. Also, I'd like to thank my acting GM for during the period of time that I've been off island.
It's good to have a good Limtiaco.
Yeah, so it shows the.
At least one.
Yeah. It shows that I could be off island and I could be out of the work day, but we have very.
faster.
Yeah, well, as soon as I left, right?
Usually, John, it's a woman, right?
Yeah.
What's that review again?
Okay, so again, I'd like to thank them personally and of course ask your consideration for that, for again their performance. Cabras 1, here's some information. What next? And again, we have BWSC that came in and helped to provide a quotation to repair. They brought in the boiler specialists, all of us to assist. We have some apprentices that we brought on board that actually were down there helping now with the lagging and doing all these various things. And again, our regular teams work on the systems itself. So again, the startup now is scheduled for the 27th, which is next week. And again, depending on we find other leaks, but I think that's working fine. So next.
JB, just out of curiosity, what does that pressure in the boiler get up to? When they do the pressure test, what is that?
The
PSI?
pressure in the boiler is under normal operating is 1800 psi. Yeah. The one in Tangisan is about 850.
Wow.
So that's why we say in Cabras is complex. The one in Tangisan is 850 and 900 degrees F. The one in Cabras is 1800 and 1000 degree F. So the higher that, so it's very complicated, complex, no? Much more. So again here, the gas duct is before and here's after, no? No? So the repairs next. The boiler wall was split here. See now, been done, no? Next. lagging, again, more new lagging. And again, what happens is this is the outside cover, there's some insulation, and there's some lagging. Again, this is to keep the heat in the boiler, no? And then if there's an escape, you're gonna have hot spots around here to tell you, and then you have to go in and make sure the boiler is sealed. So it's really a sealed surface with the pipings. Again, box stays are ones that hold the tubes in place, you know. And again, a lot have been repaired already, almost done, if not already done. So these are some of the pending areas that are here, that are being worked on now for completion. Also, we have to bring in and retest all the safety valves, because the way the boiler is at 1800 psi, no? All of these safety valves, if anything happens, are supposed to pop.
Pressure relief valves?
Pressure relief valve, so that you don't, because if you keep on putting heat and all of that, and no water or all the things, that pressure can get much higher, and then now you're going to have a much bigger catastrophe. No? Next, so that's being tested, and then we have to take out all the scaffolding, which is about 6 floors or so of 60 feet of scaffolding, no, inside the boiler for people to work on. So we take it all out, and then we start up the plan scenario. Next. So again, it's in works. I say early May, but it'll probably be on the line by the end of the month to get us, and then that will help us in the reserve, because that's 50 megawatts that we. All the others are the regular reports on the thing. And again, the biggest one on that is fuel, which I show you, the almost 90 degree. So.
How unbroke are we?
Oh, I don't know what I missed by. I'm sorry. The refinancing, of course.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, and thank all the team that worked very hard on this.
You guys did good.
So at one point, I thought we were only going to save about 8 million, but then at the end, through all the escrows and everything, it came out to be 10 million.
So do we have the final, that little summary sheet you guys always do? Can we just circulate that by Tuesday?
Yes, we'll provide it.
It's a good summary.
It's about
net present value final
4.1%.
was what, 5 million? 6 million?
About $6 million.
Okay,
Yep.
and then the debt service savings isn't 15 million a year in the first early years, it's only 10.
10.
10, yes.
Okay, so, well, that's
Yep.
where the delay,
10 annually?
Yes,
Yeah,
10
for the
annually.
first 7 years.
it could have been 15.
Yeah.
If we had had better interest rates, if we'd done the deal sooner. I mean, that's the sad part. Ratepayers lost out on, actually, when I looked at the numbers from a year ago, because I remember we sent emails to Senator San Augustine in June, because I believe a couple of you were able to talk to Senator Rogel in, I guess, May. Then we got the indication he wasn't interested in helping. So in June, we were sending an email to Senator San Augustine of the legislation, and then it started to flow. So when I looked at the numbers last September, yeah, it would have been 15 million a year in debt service savings instead of 10 for the first 7 years. And NPV was going to be 15 million in net savings, and that's only 6. That's what the delay, so the delay really cost ratepayers, $5-10 million and $5 million more in debt service in the early years than we could have had we just done it last year when it was so obvious. And we were refinancing GovGuam debt at the same time. The same legislature saying, hey, go, this is good. Yet we couldn't get our support when we needed it. And then, of course, the irony is that at the end of the day, he ends up voting for the bill anyway. Then why didn't you support it in the first place? All these savings could have occurred, but it's done.
It's done, and we're happy at least,
let's
and
just
then
move on.
we'll reset our waterfalls and continue to look at ways to save money, so that again we can maximize the savings to the ratepayers, no?
Very good.
In the 2024-2025 timeframe. Then last but not least, they believe the line to the substation is all energized now. So I think by the end of this month, maybe next week, they're going to start sending the first megawatts out through the solar farm here. And then so that between now and June 20 commissioning full contract is in full operation.
And I was talking to the landowner, so they're also helping the landowner, which, you know, people assume it's publicly owned. It's privately owned. But KEPCO is working with the incumbent landowner and putting up parking, you know, fencing, you know, where the community can go back to Marble Cave, but it's safe. I mean, even the landowner was worried, you know, he's an attorney. He was worried about people just going down there and getting hurt, and, you know, they would leave their trash. So it's really gonna be nicely set up, safe for the community. They're doing a walkway and very nice, and all solar powered. They're gonna take some energy from the solar farm. So, you know, a very nice resolution working out with.
Yeah, if you take off from Guam and stick to the right side of the airplane,
Yeah.
and as you're flying out, you see it.
Huge.
I saw it going out, but it was cloudy a little bit, no? But oh my gosh, it is.
And when you drive down there,
yeah.
it's huge.
No, that's huge. 300 acres.
Yeah.
So John, how do they slowly bring it on? They just put on certain sections of the panels
Yeah,
at a time?
Section at a time. Test it next year, and they put in the next panels, I think. So then they start building up the megawatts.
I'd like to go see it. I'd like to go check it out. I haven't been there.
Well, aren't we going to have like a ribbon cutting?
They are, the latest thing I understand is that, that's why they were trying to work on financial closing and all of this for the Ukudu. So what we're gonna do is have, they wanted to have,
Combo.
groundbreaking. Well, it's been groundbreak already, but you know, it's like continuation and commissioning in probably July. But no, we'll take you
go
down there.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll schedule something, we'll go down and take a look. And then I'll have them explain to you. Yeah.
No, I think we should all go.
I went there with, you know, my nephew's
I've been down there, but-
teaches engineering at University of Pittsburgh, and he says it's a fantastic design, well built. Right? He said Guam is much further ahead than most communities in terms of solar and renewable in what we're doing. We don't do as much rooftop, but we're doing more we're going to be way ahead on utility scale.
Yeah, that
And-
45 century.
Yeah, and that, you know, he says compared to Pennsylvania, we're way ahead, you know. So, you know, that, I mean, that's really a tribute to our team, right? And the leadership and the vision and the tenacity to kind of keep pounding through this thing and deal with whatever the challenges are to get us to 25% renewable when the new generator is up, and then 50% renewable by 2030, some 400 megs, and rooftop will play a role. And we'll figure out where that is. But right now, the fastest, cheapest way to lower the power bill is to build utility scale solar farms and get that new generator on. And the LEAC goes from 21 to 13, a 40% drop in the LEAC when all these pieces of the puzzle come online.
Economies of scale, that's what will bring that. And again, as we do more work, get more grants maybe for transmission or batteries, that will all save the ratepayers money, no? And because those are available to us now, and we're working to get our portions of the huge amount of grants that's available. No? So that, Mr.
Other
Chair.
than that, not much going on, huh?
No, it's all in day's work. Yep.
Oh, and John and I were able to get our 4th booster in San Francisco, in addition to getting our good ratings from our rating group.
That's a more effective booster.
Yeah. The booster.
That's the organic. You got the organic version of the booster.
Okay. John Kim,
No, that was the booster.
you ready?
Yes,
So how are we doing financially?
yeah, for March financials, for March revenue, base revenue, we budgeted $12.9 million. Actual was 13.4, which is very same with prior year, which is about 13.4 also. Very similar numbers. In terms of megawatt sales, our actual was 131,000, and prior was 129,000. But very similar. Yes. The next slide is the graph of each segment. The one that increased was actually the government. The commercial and the residential were about the same revenue. Also, the Navy also consumption
Why is
went up.
government going on? More, the schools are open or
Yeah, probably more schools are open.
open longer?
Yes. And the following section is fuel revenues. We budgeted last year 21.4 million. Actually, it was $24.4 million compared to.
What a bad budgeter you are. You didn't predict $120 a gallon in a barrel?
Nobody could project that.
Yeah, we were predicting 15 cents per kilowatt.
Just look at the gas stations lately. They're going up again.
Yeah, they went up 20 cents, right?
20 cents.
Yes.
Dang.
For O&M, we
I
were
did gas.
budgeting. Yes.
I need to gas a day ahead.
For O&M, we were budgeting $6.9 million. Actually, was 6.8 favorable. Compared to last year, last year was $6.2 million.
So our revenues are up about 3 million compared to last year, and our budget below 3 million.
Those are non-fuel revenues?
Yeah, this is base revenues.
Because of more megawatt hour sales.
Yeah. Yes.
Base revenue should go up. Yeah.
Yes. The following segments, and this is the second quarter. This is the average number of customers. For residential, about 45,283. For commercial was 5,367. So the increase has been on the residential compared to last quarter by 59, and also commercial went up by 18 customers on average.
So
And-
between now and last year, 1 year ago, we have about 800 more customers came on the street.
1,000 residential.
Yeah.
2020.
Debt service coverage right now is about 1.78. This is before any pension or OPEB adjustment. Last year we were hurt because we had like $14 million pension OPEB adjustment.
Do you expect that again this year?
No, I think what's gonna happen is last year they had like the discount rate was different. Like I think they went from 3.2 to like 2.3, so we had to incur more expenses. But the interest rates are going up, so they will change the discount rate. So it might be the opposite direction, I'm thinking. But we'll see.
And every year we have to adjust, right? Based
Yes,
on the
yes.
latest actual.
Yeah, and it's not due to number of people retiring because we provide the numbers and they already predict all of that. It's related to what kind of discount rate they use. That's been affecting us. And the following section, this is our under recovery. For end of March, it was $29.4 million. PUC has approved a 20.9 cents LEAC on starting April 1st. So we expect this to come down, but by Tuesday we'll give you a prediction what's going to happen by July.
I mean, we hope it comes down, but if oil goes up,
Yeah,
we're stuck.
yes, there's a lot of moving parts on that, yes. And that's it from finance side.
You know, John, there's one thing Commissioner Santos brought up about we need to get more aggressive in terms of getting electric vehicles for GPA and GWA too. And, you know, they have like new step vans. Commissioner Santos.
Yep.
You want to?
Yeah, you know, John, as we continue to read more on this and stuff like that, so I'm proposing to our colleagues not to task you guys with more work, but if we look at our fleet, right, between you and GWA, we have a lot of trucks running out there, so we can start planning forward, right? I just got a fleet schedule from Tully, and I'm not sure what our light use is of our light utility trucks, but we may want to start looking at
Changing out.
changing out to EVs. And I think I shared with my colleagues that I think the public quite honestly expects us to lead this initiative, right, with electric vehicles. So we
I agree.
should be the example that's going to be out there. And I mean, we shared with Commissioner Antalco that not even his trucks ride around at 150 miles a day at best. So building an EV station somewhere or whatever we're going to do, I'm just, give somebody else in our excellent team another assignment. Somebody's got to do it, right?
And actually,
Fortunately.
Isn't there a conference on this, the vehicle, on the
Yeah,
electric?
it's called the ACT Expo. Our company will be attending it personally.
What is it, all sizes of trucks?
Yes,
Yeah.
all
Even
classes,
bucket
Class
trucks.
8 as well as
When was
light
that,
and heavy
the
duty.
end of May, or?
It's actually May 8th, May 9th through
May
let me see here. It's May 9th through the 12th.
Because they are, from what I saw in that, they are electric,
Panel
bucket
vans,
trucks.
step vans.
Yeah, they'll be well represented at
Yeah,
that.
because we can even start out with that one already too.
Sure.
For the next fiscal year's order bucket trucks instead of going there. So we'll take a look.
John K., what is our policy on retiring trucks? At what age do we say enough?
For us, it's mandatory 10 years.
Okay.
We should start replacing.
Yeah, okay.
But
So maybe can we propose that we look at that
Yeah.
age group and say, okay, guys, it's, we have 10 trucks ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, just put a plan together. Exactly what you're saying, just put the
We'll
transition.
we'll give you something by the next month's
We don't-
meeting.
we don't
Yep.
need to-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can budget for it.
It's next fiscal year, right? But
Yeah.
again, I think if we task you guys to say, you must
Yep,
convert our fleet.
yep, we will. Okay.
And we'll lead the example for the government, because I mean, we have a ton of,
But
yeah.
it might be cheaper to convert them after the new power
Yeah,
plant.
that-
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, John, JB, if you can figure out what the equivalent cost per gallon would be compared to a combustion engine.
Yeah.
What is it gonna cost you to charge that vehicle as opposed to just fueling up, right?
Take it over the life of the equipment, no, and the savings. Okay, we'll do that for next month's meeting.
Yeah, and I guess, does it make a difference if it's diesel or gas, or I don't know, I mean.
Well, you
I
do
don't
the
know.
cost benefit and the
Yeah.
price.
In both, right?
Yeah.
But if it's gonna last 10 years, then to me, it's almost like, okay, well, even if you have a little negative in the beginning, you convert, it's a 10-year vehicle in 2-3 years.
So that's the unknown on the conversion right now, is nobody really knows the life expectancy of these electric vehicles. They don't know the life expectancy of the batteries.
Yeah.
So,
Batteries, yeah.
so when you project it out 10 years, you really don't know what your maintenance cost is yet.
You can just see the magnitude of there is savings or is it close or.
Yeah.
So you kind of transition a little slower till the numbers become more certain.
It's the same philosophy that the CCU and GPA has looked at renewables, right? Is you ride the technology curve up and the cost down, so.
Because what the more and more OEMs, are going to provide more and more
Oh, yeah.
different types of equipment. So that
GM
will help
actually has
bring
a
costs
subsidiary
down.
company,
Yeah.
Bright
Yeah.
something.
But the challenge is too on the maintenance side, right? These things they're easier to maintain in the sense that instead of tearing an engine apart and rebuilding it, you just change out an electric
I will share
motor.
with you, Commissioner Calco, that on one trip, it was myself, Chairman doing this, and Mr. Beneventi, when we were in Honolulu, we stopped at the Tesla showroom. John P. did not want to look at the car, he went straight to the engine.
He went to the underparts.
Looking at it, and then
He's looking underneath. We're looking at
after
the
we were
beauty
done, he
cars.
goes, you know what? Our GPA guys can repair this. I said, what? He said,
Yeah.
well, I guess there's our sideline business, we're gonna be the electric.
Yeah.
Put it in the gas station and the repair.
It's a turbine, I go, whatever, you guys know, we literally can't
Motors,
repair this. I go, wow.
Yeah, and they're one of the few agencies that can, right? Because they understand power. But for those outside that are used to, like, the shops, it's dangerous, right? You can die from these batteries. They're that powerful. So you got to be real careful
biggest
about
concern
who
is,
goes in with the wrench and starts.
The biggest
with the
concern is
battery,
that the batteries are safe and they keep cool and everything, and there's no explosions. Which actually, even the utility scale batteries were having explosions early, and then being addressed. You have too much heat generating in one area and not enough evacuation of.
But it does impact the skill level of the drivers, though, right? So now instead of having to shift, right, you don't have to shift on an electric vehicle. You just hit the throttle and hit the brake. Whereas in a Class 8 truck, you need an experienced person to shift through the gears. Not necessarily to shift up, but to shift down, because when you're carrying a lot of weight and you can't
You can't just stop.
downshift, you can't just use the brake. It would just burn out the brakes, you know, so. But with the electric vehicles, you just get off the throttle and you get on the throttle, so.
I mean, if you look at just the government as a whole, I mean, the obvious one for us is the buses. I mean, and again, I'm telling you guys, they're gonna look at us. Because they're not, I mean, I hope DPW does not think for a minute that that's gonna be their line of business. Right, remember, we all own our buses. I mean, every bus we buy and own, right?
We'll be the teacher, actually, how to do it, and then as they change out their fleet,
Yeah.
you know, we'll be ahead of the curve, actually, because we'll be changing out, and the private sector's gonna learn too.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
learning.
Well, there you go. That's
But from a revenue perspective, right? I mean, just think of how much more reliant the community will be on the power GPA because, you know, now they're using the utility to charge their equipment.
And then,
Then we can do those little stores too.
yeah, and then I'd like to know that
Which one?
I'd like to know that I hope there's not that skepticism out there that all we're gonna do is
do the mileage.
sell more electricity and just be rich. But what happens that is when we do that, right, then you have an opportunity to reduce the base rate
Okay.
as time goes by.
So now
right?
we're beginning to just talk,
But no,
Why don't we adjourn the meeting?
We let the experts tell us.
Yeah.
I think more importantly, it kind of diffuses the activists. You know, I mean, we constantly get hammered, but, you know, my niece reminds me all the time that, you know, I drive to work and I go, yeah, I need to drive to work because there's not enough tangan for me to burn in my car. I'm not gonna do
the old
this.
steam motor.
Yeah, I always tease her, I said, I'm gonna have you get a tangan burner for
You know, one thing is, I think we should think about an outreach to that group, because, I mean, God bless them, but they just don't know what we're doing to do what they want us to do.
Yeah.
We are so,
keep the lights on.
you know,
And clean.
convert to renewables.
Yeah.
But, you know, they think you snap your fingers and it happens. Meanwhile, while they're driving their car,
Yeah.
flying in a conventional airplane, and, you know, using conventional power, because they don't have solar on their roof.
I think, okay, so, thank you very much. Is motion to adjourn?
Absolutely.
Great job, everybody. Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Thank you.
We're adjourned. Okay. You know, Francis, you know, the only thing I was thinking
So
about.
John,
by the way-
are